Anxiety is one of the biggest and most common problems that I deal with clients all the time. People say to me, I'm really anxious, this makes me anxious, I have anxiety, I have these anxious moments. And we work on strategies and we work on things to help them. And so I've got 3 things that I consistently do with clients and I use with myself and so many people that generally do work and help to alleviate some of the suffering from anxiety. So the first thing is, I want you to understand that if you have anxiety at the moment or it's part of your character, that's normal. It's in a way quite healthy. It can be really useful. It's a part of who you are. There's nothing wrong with you. It may not be nice. I know it's definitely not nice from personal experience, but I know it can be very useful. So the first thing is I want you to recognize when anxiety comes, how does it feel in your body? So you might think, what does that mean? You say, well, how does it actually feel? How do you know when you're anxious? And you might say, well, my thoughts start to race, or I get butterflies in my stomach, or I get sweaty palms, and then I get into a really anxious state. So I want you to recognize that, maybe even write those symptoms down so that you recognize when you're anxious from when you might just be angry or upset, or tired. Because the danger is we can think, oh, I'm anxious, and that can lead to the feelings and it kind of goes down. So the first is I want you to understand, what does anxiety feel like to you in your body? Because by just understanding how it feels when it comes, you're like, okay, I'm used to this, it's normal, it's these symptoms, and I can handle these symptoms, okay? The second thing I want you to think about is your self-talk. Psychologists use this phrase, self-talk. It's how you talk to yourself in your mind. We have 50 to 80,000 thoughts a day, most of them usually quite negative. And when you're going through what I call a wave anxiety, when it comes over you, your self-talk usually goes very negative. It says, what about this? What about this? This has ruined this. This is terrible. This is going to happen from the past to the future. And it goes all over the place. But what we need to do is we need to say, okay, right, you're okay. So say your name's Sarah. Say, right, Sarah, you're all right in this moment. It'll pass. It'll pass. You're doing well. Keep doing what you're doing. It's all right. Imagine a person next to you coaching you through, a family member or a parent or your partner. What would they say to you? Talk to yourself like that, because it's a special moment when you're truly feeling anxious. You know how bad it gets. The last thing you want is those negative thoughts as well as physical symptoms just kind of batting off each other. So you're like, oh, I feel these symptoms, I've got these thoughts, okay, it's okay, Sarah, it'll pass. Here's some of my favorite phrases that I use with clients for anxiety. It will pass. This is temporary. I can handle this. It will soon be over. And my personal favorite, this will come to nothing. Because when we're anxious, we're trying to troubleshoot, we're looking for problems, and often they come to nothing. So you remind yourself, it will come to nothing. So you do those 2 things. The third one is, if you're really struggling and neither of those things are really helping, if you're sat down, stand up, go do something. Busy yourself, go do the dishes, do some cleaning, do some paperwork, do something that's mindless, and you can just get lost in it because you've got this extra energy. I call it extra energy. It's like a positive thing when you're feeling anxious. You may not like it, but you're full of this energy. Do something with it. Yeah, go for some exercise, do whatever you got to do. It doesn't matter what it is, but make it useful. So afterwards, when you go into bed and maybe it's past, you think, oh, I survived that, and I got the dishes done, and I got that paperwork done, and I did a little workout. You're actually making use from it. And those 3 things, having the self-talk, knowing it in your body, and maybe busying yourself and making use of it, they're like a process. And you can use any one of those or all 3 of those every time it comes. If you're somebody who feels anxious every day, you can use that every single day. You can talk to yourself kindly in that moment. You can recognize the physical symptoms in that moment. You can busy yourself. There's always something you can do in that moment. Now's not the time for social media. Now's not the time to speak to somebody else. Now's the time to say, okay, I'm going to ride this out and I can handle this. And by doing that, you start to get some confidence. And the next time it comes, you say, all right, bring it on. I did it last night and I'm going to do it this time. I did it this morning and I can handle it. I can handle it. And you become more confident with yourself. And then you start to embrace it as a part of just who you are. You don't have anxiety, it doesn't have you. It's a part of who you are, and it's natural, and you can handle it.